Happy New Year. Welcome back. So, I have been spending the holidays reading, as I mentioned in a previous blog posting. And uh, because part of what happens at the end of the year is I reflect on what I've done. Uh, am I happy with it? Is it moving in the direction I want? And where do I want to go in the future, particularly in 2024, for example? And the act of submitting work to Swarm, surprisingly enough, had a focusing effect. I guess this is what happens after not submitting for a couple of years because of COVID and the show not going on because of COVID. Um, and one of the criticisms of myself would be that my work is too tight, too illustrative, and needs to be looser or more painterly quality. And I also feel that maybe I need to start moving away from acrylics and move more to oils, which has more body, has a sort of a lusher quality to it. I went to acrylics for the colors, but now maybe I need to not sacrifice the colors, but to at least put a more painterly, looser quality to my work so it doesn't look so illustrative. Uh, I've been looking at among several artists, Dana Schultz, Peter Doyle, if I'm saying it's right, and Philip Guston. There's other artists I'm looking at as well, but I'm working for their books, and these are the ones I'm really into at the moment. And some of the insights I have is that there's lots of traps you can fall into when you're trying to do art. You can have these puzzle pieces where you use a lot of symbols, objects that have meaning, that sort of thing, and reading a painting becomes simply a puzzle that you have to solve. This means this. This means this. Put them together, and that's the answer to the painting. And it can't be that simple. And you don't want it to be too stagey or artificial. You want sort of a reflective quality. You want a painting that can't be read in 2 seconds, that it becomes like a photograph. You take a quick look at it, this is what this is about, and the story, there's no other reason to look for it. So you're looking to try to create some depth, some reflective quality about the art, and then in the process of doing that, avoid some of the pitfalls that some artists either artists fall into, or strategies that have been used so often over the years that they become sort of a cliche. So you don't want to fall into that trap either. So looking at Dana's work, for example, or the three artists, they all have sort of a stage presentation to their art. It's like the characters in their paintings are standing on a stage with sort of a backdrop. There's not much perspective. It's sort of one figure in front of another figure in front of another figure, very flat planes. They're the what's happening is very, in a way, honest. Dana, for example, will create these scenarios, these fictional scenarios. What would it look like picturing yourself sneezing? What would it look like if a boat was sinking and everyone on the boat had to be rebuilding the boat to prevent it from sinking on this open sea? That sort of thing. Philip Guston was very much influenced by seeing photographs from the Holocaust, and a lot of his work is just a literal reinterpretation of those photographs from the camps into his paintings. And they're simplified, they're on a stage, they're with sometimes no background to it, and then you see the bodies and stylized bodies, and it's not stylized to the point where you know he's not disguising what they are, but you don't actually recognize what they are either unless you know the backstory to it. Then the other situation he looks at is the KKK. He takes the situation, the exercise of what this is what evil looks like, but what would evil look like in a day-to-day setting? Going to get coffee, going to do errands, being in the studio, that sort of thing. So he takes these hooded figures symbolizing evil and then puts them in very mundane situations to say, you know, like evil is not a 9-to-5 job, it's 24/7. What would evil look like in the day-to-day mundane situations? And so that's his approach, again, very much on a stage platform. Peter Doyle, I know I'm saying his name wrong, I apologize. His approach is he's a person who's lived in Canada, the Caribbean, and Great Britain. And what he does is he uses memory that when he's in one country, he kind of reflects on his past in another country and uses memory as sort of a filter to simplify and organize his subjects. And again, his stuff is a little bit more complex than there's mixing of different situations and memories into one picture, and then it's simplified. But again, it's very much one figure on another figure, almost on in a stage or theater sort of presentation of his locations. And so, but they are identifiable locations based on memory. So a guy with long red hair outside of a music shop, that sort of thing, a kid on the side of a canal, people sitting on a beach. Like these are his classic guy sitting in a canoe, a hippie sitting in a canoe on a quiet lake. Like they are real situations simplified, and so there's like an honest representation, but they're done in such a way that it creates it's not easy to read it that way. It's a hard thing to express. Dana, Peter, and Philip all do fairly honest, direct representations of situations, but they're done in such a way that you as the viewer may not recognize what that situation is until you maybe hear the backstory of what the source material was or what the concept of it was. And that's what creates from my perspective, that's what creates the draw. That's what pulls you in. That which causes you to spend more time trying to read the painting than just quickly glance at it and pass it by and then forget about it. The other thing that I noticed about these three artists is that they all have energy and movement in them. Dana's figures and characters are often in this manic rush situation where they're catching a sneeze or they're building a boat or they're hustling people off the stage, that sort of thing. Philip Guston stuff is a little bit more reflective. The client off to do an errand in a car, a sort of a still situation, bodies on a landscape, sitting in the studio. So there's movement, but it's not as evident, but it's still there, if that makes any sense. And then Peter's work, because it's based on a lot on memory, it's memory of movement from the past. So you don't see really anything happening. Everything's still, but there's still movement to it. There's this, like you could see someone getting up from the beach or continuing to walk along a storefront or in a canoe and the canoe's drifting by very slowly. There's still that potential for movement. So these are some of the things I'm exploring with these master artists that I'm hoping that I can take lessons in and incorporate into my work and make my work that to improve and move forward. You're always trying to learn from the masters and move forward. These are contemporary, relatively contemporary artists. Peter Doyle and Dana Schultz are still alive. Philip Gustafson has passed away. But this is the stuff I'm trying to learn from them, or that's the insight I'm getting from them. And I'm thinking about how I might incorporate it into my own art. So that's where I am right now with my process. It'll probably take me a few weeks before I actually start doing anything, painting anything. I'm still learning how. I'm also studying about how to use oils, because I really haven't used oils. I've used acrylics for the last 10, 15, 20 years because of the colors, the bright colors. I want to move to oils to get the more painterly body stuff. So I'm learning about that as well. So lots to do. Not much to show for it, but lots of things going on anyhow. So till next time, thanks for dropping by. Take care.